shameless. I don't wanna be one of the nameless. I'ma wake up with the mindset that one day I'm gonna make it. And I don't think I'll be fine if I don't break my limitations. Don't try to stop me, I exist to write my own story. I'll make a decision if I want some peace or if I want the glory. Yeah, don't want a life that is complacent or possibly boring. I just want a life that is worth every day exploring.
My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great.
Joy being stressed out buying tickets for sports. Well, if you do, this is definitely not for you. But if you're like me and like to save money and make a life a little bit easier, you need to get Game Time. With killer deals, last-minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed, you can stop stressing and start getting hyped for the fun that you're going to have. It's easy to find and buy tickets for every kind of event in your area, whether that's sporting events, concerts, comedy shows, or whatever. With their lowest prices guaranteed, it's the Game Time guaranteed, which means you're always going to get the best prices. If you find tickets in the same section or less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. You can get exclusive flash deals on tickets for football, baseball, basketball, concerts, and more. In the middle screenshot, by the way, I think it's a fantastic feature of this app. It shows you where your seat is, and if you move your phone left to right, you can see the surrounding area like a 3D live photo. So download Game Time app, plug in Chat Sports, get $20 off your very first purchase. Again, go to the redeem code section, plug in Chat Sports, get $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Got to create an account and all that lovely stuff to get $20 off your very first purchase. The information is going to be in the description and comment section of this video. If you're buying Lions tickets this year or any tickets for any event, make sure you're using Game Time. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. The countdown begins, folks, for the 2024 NFL Draft. The Detroit Lions hosting the draft in Detroit here in about 3 weeks. What will the Detroit Lions do? Are they going to upgrade the offense with the 29th pick? Are they going to upgrade the defense with the 29th pick? Are they going to trade up or down? What does Brad Holmes and company have for this very good roster in our beloved Detroit Lions? That's what we're going to be talking about today. A lot of draft. And, of course, the latest Lions news and rumors for you folks. And that's what it's all about. Everybody in the building, thank you for coming in. We got James Janela, the Hunter, 9 Drinks, Lisa DeLorenzo, Soil Carr, Mr. Detroit City, Dennis Titak, Kurt Casper, Psycho, Billy Demon, Sawyer Carr, Tony Verno, Lions Kool-Aid, and 9 Drinks, all up in this building. Make sure you go ahead and hit that like button. Why? Because it pushes the video out there, and we want people to actually go ahead and listen to this shiznit. Also, what is up, Ant-Man? See you in there. I was on the huge show yesterday, ESPN Radio. Make sure you guys check that out, 96.1. Go on there if you want to listen to me talk Detroit Lions. They also got the recorded version as well on there pretty much every week, doing some work for the Detroit Lions. Let's get into the latest Lions news. If you're living under a rock, you may not know this, but the Detroit Lions matched Brock Wright's contract that the 49ers gave him in free agency. I think that's a shocker to me. I'm sure it's a shocker to you. Did not expect that for the amount of money that they were offering Brock Wright. San Francisco did for 3 years, $4 million a year, $12 million. And I don't think a lot of people, including myself, actually thought the Detroit Lions would do a match of the contract. But the Detroit Lions did just that. They matched the contract right there. And what does that mean for our team? Well, I think in the draft, you can go ahead and throw out the idea that they're going to draft a tight end in this draft in any round, specifically even in the later rounds, because when you're giving $12 million to Brock Wright, you got Sam Laporta is already your number one, James Mitchell, Shane Zylstra up in there trying to battling for a number 3/4, whatever. the odds are that the Lions are not going to be getting a tight end in the draft. Do you guys agree that the Lions should have matched the offer? In the comment section right now, put why if you do agree and if you disagree. Look, I love Brock Wright. I think he's actually a really solid player for the Detroit Lions, a hell of a good blocker for a tight end, right? And anytime he does touch the ball, it's not much. He always makes a play. He did it for the Jets a couple years ago, did it last year in the playoffs. So Brock Wright is a good piece, but my oh my, for $4 million a year, that's a little bit shocking for me. $4 million a year. But Kool-Aid says why? Nine Drinks says why? Lisa Dorenzo says why? James Janella, why? Sawyer Carr, why? Suspenseful Habits, why? So they all love him coming back. I don't think anybody disagrees there. I think we all appreciate what he does. But Highlights Full Game says no. I just question about the money. That was a lot of money. I personally think when I look at this situation, and I want to see what you guys think too as well. I did this take last night on the radio. Is I think that the 49ers and the Lions are kind of playing a 3D chess game here. The 49ers, you know what? We're going to go ahead and take a piece from the Detroit Lions, whom we faced, obviously, in the NFC Championship game. They like this guy. We're going to bring him to our team, so we kind of know a little bit about the Detroit Lions. And we're going to make this a $12 million offer. Now, if the Lions don't match, guess what? We get Brock Wright, get a little information. If the Lions match, we just hit their cap hit a little bit. And that's what occurred because 3 years for $4 million a year. We know Brad Holmes, he's not big into the bigger contracts, especially paying that type of money for a tight end 2/3. So I think there could have been a little bit of 3D chess move played there. And that's just the bottom line of what happened. And the Lions had to pay for it because they like Brock Wright. A lot of people like Brock Wright. Tony says no. But everyone else is saying yeah. Do you guys agree that he should have had a 3-year, $12 million contract for what he does? Personally, look, when it comes to me and players, I hope they get the most money, every single player. It's just more of the cap. It has nothing to do with the player. It has all to do with the cap space and how the cap works. I could care less how much a player gets paid. More power to him, but it's just the cap that hurts because you're trying to get other players in this roster, and you can't do it when you have cap space. And that's why we see teams with multiple problems. They're like a Daniel Jones, right? They pay this guy $45 million a year, and he's not really good, in my opinion, as a starting quarterback. So you put all this cap space into players, and it's a reduction of more talent around you. He got paid because San Francisco was playing bullcrap games, but Brock Wright is a Lion. I agree with you, Jannard. I do. I think that you have the right take right there, and I 100% believe that that's the case. 58 people in the chat. Let's get to 30 likes right now. That's 5 more. Slowly, people are going to come in. We're going to get after it for sure. So Brock Wright is a Detroit Lion unless they trade him. You know, if the San Francisco really wanted Brock Wright that much, I mean, they could do that. But he's to be a Detroit Lion. So he is going to be a Detroit Lion. What I thought this was interesting, I want you guys taking this. They're willing to pay Brock Wright $4 million a year. They were not willing to pay Josh Reynolds $4.5 million a year. Josh Reynolds had over 600 yards receiving, 8 touchdowns, and was the number 3/2 wide receiver last year. And it just shows you that they probably really didn't want Josh Reynolds back. They really did. They really did. Hashtag Anthony says, like for Mike. I like it. Like an Ike for Mike. I appreciate it for right there. So go ahead and like it up. Absolutely. And get the comments flowing because that's how we push this stuff out there. We don't have to worry about the tight end draft now. We absolutely do not have to worry about the tight end in the draft. I don't expect them to draft any tight end even in the 7th round just because of the room that we have. So you can go ahead and take that position off there for the Detroit Lions in the draft. I think that's really important here. Deeper wide receiver room. Kurt, we're going to definitely get into that. So with one position opened up because of this news that was taking place here, that means that the Detroit Lions have opportunity to look at other positions as well. Before we get into that, though, the Lions re-signed Kindle Vildor to a 1-year deal. He is going to be a cornerback 4/5 for the Detroit Lions. Now, I like what Vildor did last year for the Lions. He came in place of Jerry Jacobs, who was not playing that well, and actually considering the fact of how bad our secondary was, he was not the greatest corner, but he was an upgrade. So we all wanted Vildor to come back in a backup role, and guess what? Kindle Vildor is back in a backup role. So I think that was a good little signing for depth right there. He's a good piece to the Lions secondary. We don't want to see him as a starter, but we definitely don't mind seeing him as a backup. Mike, what round do you think we will draft a wide receiver in? I'm going to tell you right now, Sawyer Carr. I'm going to tell you right now. It could be any round. It could be round 1, too. Best believe the Detroit Lions could take a receiver at round 1 in this year's draft. And I know a lot of people would be like, that's not something that we want to do, is take a wide receiver because we have defense. But Brad Holmes, folks, he is all about best player available. That's what he does. He's not doing a player. He's not going to draft a player for need. He's going to do it for BPA. And if a wide receiver falls like Adonai Mitchell, the bigger receiver right there, 6'2", contested catch guy who had over almost 900 yards receiving, 11 touchdowns, that could be an option for the Detroit Lions at pick 29. It really could. Personally, again, I still want you to understand I would like to go defense. I am really hoping that a player defensively, like a cornerback, a Kool-Aid McKinstry, or an edge rusher, could fall to the Lions at 29. Folks, I'm seeing in mock drafts right now, I still don't believe it. I still think it's fool's gold, but I'm seeing mock drafts where Jared Verse is falling to the Lions around that pick. If that's the case, it's called run up and put your ticket up there. But I'm just hoping one of these players, edge, corner, will be available at 29. That is best player available at the position of need that we need. That would make a ton of sense because we need to upgrade this defense significantly. We do. Even though we brought back Kindle Vildor, even though we got Davis in a trade, even though we got Amik Robertson and Emmanuel Mosley re-signed, we need to get a young cornerback for this football team to develop over the years. That's what we need. The future cornerback should be in this year's draft to get there. And now look, there's going to be a lot of corners that are going to go in the first round. There's going to be a lot that go in the second round. There's a lot of talent at the corner position, a lot of talent at offensive line, a lot of talent at wide receiver, a lot of talent at the corner position and interior defensive tackle in this year's draft. I love what I'm seeing. What position do you think that the Detroit Lions should take with the 29th pick? Let me know right now in the comments below. If you think it's a wide receiver, put WR. If you think it's an edge, put ED. Do you think if it's defensive tackle, put DT? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. CB for corner. What do you think is the biggest need for the Detroit Lions? I'm going to go now. I keep going back and forth with corner and edge. To me, it's like each day they switch out. They're both in dire need of upgrade. I like Marcus Davenport, okay, as not our bona fide number 2 guy. I know that this franchise likes him, and Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes like him as a number 2, but the guy has been injured, and we can't just rely on one person. We got to be able to bring in multiple players so we can help that edge position. The last thing you need is a Marcus Davenport to go down with an injury. Then what are you going to do, right? We need to get better at that edge position. And Brian says edge, edge, edge. Look, I'm with you, man. I'm telling you right now. And if we can get a player, a Robinson, a Verse, to come to Detroit opposite of Aiden Hutchinson, I'm telling you right now, this defense could take a significant jump because of that. The defense can take a positive direction because you have waves of players finally coming at a quarterback where the quarterback just does not just sit there and pick us apart. That's why our secondary was having issues, is we just could not get to the quarterback last year as much as we really wanted to. Now, Aiden Hutchinson was lighting it up in the playoffs in the last 4 games, but he needs somebody opposite. Now, DJ Reader is going to help this defensive line. DJ Reader is going to help the edge position. He's going to take on some of these double teams, so that's going to help. Oh, I'd love to bring in a lay 2, low 2. Oh, my goodness. I don't think he will be available at all at the 29th pick. Verse and him, even though we're seeing Verse fall in drafts, I truly do believe they're going to be between 11 and 17. I'm going to just go right there just because they're really good at their position and there's some good defenders, and you always need pass rush. So it's going to be quite difficult for some of these individuals to fall to the Detroit Lions. Well, it's all hope and pray, right? We got Hutch with the second pick. We were thinking, man, I don't know if it's possible if we can get a Hutch right there sitting at pick 2, but it did happen. And that's just the bottom line, that this is what occurs sometimes in the NFL draft, Brian Branch falling. So it's just one of those things. C.J. Gardner-Johnson was talking mad, I wouldn't say mad, about the Detroit Lions, but he took a shot at the Lions players, saying him and Jamison Williams are the only ones that really went into the D. Now, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, first off, I liked always C.J. Gardner-Johnson. I felt like from a player's perspective, there's individuals on the defense that were tired of C.J. Gardner-Johnson. I know that for a fact. Players were, and some coaches were. To me, I don't mind the trash talk. I think it's perfectly fine. I think he's got a swag, so I actually don't mind C.J. Gardner-Johnson. But to tell like the fans that the only people really in the D is Jamison Williams and that type of stuff, folks, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to keep this 100. A lot of Lions fans and listeners are straight up in the hood. Okay, so a lot of people that listen to this podcast or listen to or watch the Detroit Lions, a lot of these guys are poor living in the hood. So I know you've probably been into the D and stuff like that, but the fans are no jokes. There's a lot of OGs in this YouTube game that live in the hood. I know this for a fact. So it's a little bit wrong. I think you're a little bit inconsistent right there. And if the Lions players are not in, quote unquote, the hood, well, do you know that they're pretty much live by the facility, so they don't have to drive too far, and you know they're probably not. The thing is, I want to just go to the hood on my day off. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't make you a realer person or not. It doesn't. So if you're bragging about that, it really is not much to brag about. A lot of these people probably in this chat live in the hood, live in Detroit. You're not. It's not much of a. You know, it's not a braggadocious type of thing. So you're talking to individuals, and there's some real, Lions fans that are legit thugs. So it's not just you, man. It's not just you. These guys are real in the D. This is not Philadelphia. This is Detroit, right? Like, this is not the most coveted state, or in Detroit, it's not the most coveted city in the world. It's pretty hard. Pretty hard. Donovan Peoples-Jones from here. That's right. Donovan Peoples-Jones is from there. And I bet you there's a couple players on the team that's from there as well. I don't know all the teams, but I can guarantee you. But so C.J. Gardner-Johnson, man, look, we appreciate you, but there's no reason to really take shots, especially at the players. Yeah, some didn't like you, but it is what it is, right? I mean, you can't just knock everybody because one person don't like you. So that's what C.J. Gardner-Johnson said. I'm not going to go off or go crazy on it. I'm sure he's a little bit annoyed by the fan base because, look, our fan base, we are hot and cold. But you want to know what? So is every fan base, right? Lions fans are happy when we win, and we're pissed when we lose. So, and that's just like any fan base out there, right? Any fan base out there. Folks, I teamed up with a guy, and I'm teaming up with him right now, Brandon Mason, and I want to put his channel into the comment section. Right now, I'm going to put it up, and I'm going to put his channel in the comment section. And I want every Detroit Lions fan to subscribe to this man's channel. And I'm going to tell you why you should subscribe to this man's channel really quick. Because I am in here. I'm helping him out quite a bit. Okay. You see this? And we're going to be doing collabs. All right. We're going to be tearing this thing up. And Brandon Mason is a former NFL player. He played for the Miami Dolphins. He played for the New York Jets. And I believe the New York Giants as well. Okay? He is awesome. He's got a killer channel. And I want every Detroit Lions fan in here to subscribe there. Because best believe, folks, there's going to be a ton of collabs and a lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff. So everybody subscribe to my man's channel right there. That's Brandon Mason. And if you're watching after the fact, I will go ahead and put it in the comment section. Pin that for you so you guys can go ahead and subscribe to my man's channel. He's going to be on here. I'm going to be on there. We're going to make this thing, take it to the next freaking level. We're going to take it to the next level. It's going to be absolutely freaking awesome. It is. So let's get into the NFL draft really quick. So free agency, right now, I do think the big free agency is done, right? Until after the draft. A Kindle Vildor, yeah, that's not really like a big name, right? We're talking depth right there. The Detroit Lions, though, we have an opportunity in this year's draft to really make positions that we have that are good and make them great. We already got a good team, right? The roster is really good. I felt like we did all right in free agency. We didn't do the best in the world. We absolutely didn't do the worst. I think we did all right. We filled some needs. We need to get some corners. We got some corners. We need to get an edge. We got an edge. We need to get a guard in Kevin Zeitler. We got a guard. So we go to this draft. We don't really have much of a need, but we got a lot of wants and a lot of upgrades. So wide receiver, edge, corner, guard, or whatever position they want to go. And I don't think they're going to draft a quarterback. I don't think they're going to draft a tight end. I don't think they're going to draft a running back because the rooms are filled. And you say, well, what if a player falls there? It's just the rooms that are filled. Do you see the Detroit Lions drafting a tight end now? I don't. A running back? I don't. Quarterback? Absolutely not. So the rest of this, you just sit down and take the best player available for this football team. And that's what's really good about what Brad Holmes has done in this free agency. And we can just upgrade. We all want defense. That is a hashtag fact. You want defense. I want defense. We want defense. We need to go best player available. So please don't get mad at Brad Holmes. Do not get mad at Brad Holmes if he decides to go an offensive player with the first pick. Please don't get mad. We're gonna be live for the draft at the Soaring Eagle Casino. Herman Moore, myself. We're also gonna have two special guests. Two special guests from another network who's gonna be there with myself. There with probably Dose of D and Everything King. There with Herman Moore, and I think a couple other players are going to be there. My good friends. I don't know if I should really say it, but my two good buddies on a different network at a different time is going to show up and hang out, and I'm super excited about that because one's my good friend, and the other one I haven't met yet, and I love the guy, so I cannot wait for that. Tonight, I'm going to be on Woodward Heavyweights. So get ready for that. I don't know what time I'm going to be on there. Speakeasy asked if I want to get on, so I'm going to get on to him for Woodward Sports. Hint. Those already hint. He says already subscribed. Awesome for the subscription right there. Right there. So the Detroit Lions are rumored to be interested in Xavier Howard, the cornerback from the Miami Dolphins. That's an interesting note. I think if the Lions were to do this, if the Detroit Lions were to pick up Xavier Howard, it'd be after the NFL draft. I think the Lions want to find out what players are going to be available for the Lions with the 29th pick. And if they take a corner, then you wouldn't need to get an Xavier Howard. If you lose out on corners, then you can go ahead and get one, right? You could still get a corner in the late part of the draft for even more of development. But if they're wanting to get a player to start right away, that could be an option for the Detroit Lions to go ahead and call me to the bald list. Hey, the bald list right here. Bald list for sure. I think that they could do that after the NFL draft. And Tyler Boyd as well. You already heard about that. The Lions were interested in him. I think, again, it's going to be after the NFL draft. If they do anything like that, be after the draft because they want to get those players. So we've been talking for a minute here. How about we open it up for QA? Let's do the mailbag segment to you guys in this bad boy. Let me get my little scene up here so we can get your guys' questions for the day. And I like it. I like it. Let's see. Darius Robinson, Xavier Legette will be a Detroit Lion. We'll see. I wouldn't mind it. I'm not going to be upset. Let me get a little bit closer to my computer so I can see these questions just a little bit more. Let me move my thing down so you can see me because I like to sit comfortably. We'll see, man. It's so difficult because when it comes to knowing what Brad Holmes is going to do, there's nobody that knows what Brad Holmes is going to do except for Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell. Anyone that comes out here and says, like, I know what they're going to do is telling you they're full of crap. Now, if Bob Quinn was in the regime, absolutely we know what they're doing, but this is different. This is different. This is not the same. Let me move this a little bit closer to me. I want to get my comment. I don't know why it's moved over to the left too much. So let me find this scene. Move it over to a little bit because I don't like the way it's looking right now. And I can't even find it, so screw it. See, what I like most about Holmes is that he does not care about what the fans want. If you want all defense, he's going to take all offense. Hungry Panda, he don't give a hoot who we want to draft, and I love it. I absolutely, fundamentally love that he doesn't care. Because the moment that you care is the moment that you're making mistakes, folks. And we can't make mistakes in the draft. You can't make mistakes. You got to go with what your gut is telling you. You have to go in with what you 100% to believe to be the truth is. That's what you got to do, not anything else. Let me make this even bigger. I want to make this comment bigger. We'll do it like that. I think it's important that we're like that. If you got a question, put hashtag Lions, hashtag something in the comment section. It's so I can see it. Let me know in the comments below with a hashtag. Do I think he could fall to 61? I do think he's a day 2 talent. A day 2. So yeah, I do. 2nd/3rd round. That's where I got. So will he fall to the 61? Possible. That's the round where I have him going. I would say it's more probable than not. And for me to say like yes or no, it's impossible because teams make their own decisions. But I have a 2nd round/3rd round grade on you. For sure. So again, get this things up so we get the comments going and get this thing flowing. I live on the wild side. He's talking about Luke McCaffrey. Is that McCaffrey's little brother right there, younger brother? Let's see. I know that they're just players to get. The guy is in the 2nd round at best. I agree with you right there. I'm going through the comments really quick. Add me to the bald list. Yes, sure. We definitely could do that. All the bald list right there. So I got a question for you. Should the Detroit Lions draft a wide receiver right now in the first 2 rounds? Should the Lions draft a wide receiver? Why for yes and then for no? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Should they draft a wide receiver in rounds 1 or 2? Let me see your guys' comments, and I'm ready to go ahead and blow them up. Man, come on, guys. We got to get the comments flowing, folks. Let's go. Let's get this thing flowing. We got to get some combo breakers and stuff going on here.
Combo breaker!
We got to get some ultra combos going on here.
Ultra combo!
Lions Kool-Aid says yes. Kurt says no. Shift God says yes. Wide receiver all-day ticket quick returner Wes. Joshua Cephas, day 3. Lions. We'll get to that in a minute. 9 Drinks says hell yeah. Yes. Yes. Round 4, a flyer on Jake. Yes. So a lot of people is okay with taking a wide receiver in the first 2 rounds. I'm kind of shocked, but I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys are pretty relaxed in that. Howie Jerry Rice's son, he just see him wearing the Lions jersey, and Dad support our Lions. That's cool, man. I love it. I love that, man. I love seeing that. Let's see, if the Lions and Brad Holmes trade in the first round, do you think it will be up or down, James? This could go either way. I'm going to, just for the heck of things, I'll say they trade up, but they legitimately, it's the same. They can do up or down. I really like 2 prospects in this draft, and I really hope the Detroit Lions try to get one of these guys. From my personal appreciation for what they're doing, mine is Quinyon Mitchell. I think he would be amazing. I think he literally is Dan Campbell type of player from Toledo. Oh my God, he's such a physical corner. He fights, he scraps, he hits. Yes, please. I would love for that. If they're to move up, that would be the guy. Verse or lay 2, low 2. Shift God likes him. I like both those guys, but I take Verse a little bit more. But we're seeing in drafts that he's slipping too, but it's hard to tell because it is lying season now. Nobody's telling the truth. How about bringing back Quintez Cephas? The era of Quintez Cephas is over here. For the Detroit Lions, they'll go in a different direction. They could They can draft a young guy. We got players that are veterans here. St. Brown's a veteran. Jamison Williams is a veteran. Khalif Raymond is a veteran. Donovan Peoples-Jones is a veteran. Let's go ahead and get a young wide receiver. That's what I'm thinking. Get a developmental guy in the draft. We always want to continue to the draft. Draft is how you make your money and how this team gets better. Kool-Aid says here, do you agree that tight ends have make an advantage with the hip drop tackle ban? I think big tight ends are going to be unstoppable. Big tight ends and wide receivers, Lions Kool-Aid, and we're seeing this. And if you're a defensive player, you play defense, whether you played in high school, college, or if you're listening to the NFL, because I know some of the Lions players do here, it is really towards this. The rules is towards the defenders, and I think that's towards against the defenders. I think that sucks. I like defense too, but I feel like defense is starting to crumble in the NFL. It's starting to last. At some point, you can't protect everybody here, folks. You can't. NFL is a physical sport, so it is definitely advantage offense. So you're right. Big tight ends, you're probably going to see people draft more tight ends and wide receivers because of these rules, and that's what's going to happen. And you're right. You're right. You're 100%. Matt Lewis, don't worry about it, brother. Trade up and get Bowers. You're talking about getting a tight end. I think if they're to trade up, they're not going to get a tight end. They would have to get... I mean, look, Bowers is a great tight end. He is. And I've seen Mike Valenti's talk about how, offense, if he fell to 29. If fell to 29, okay. If trading up for him, I really don't want to do that. I don't. I would rather go defense. If you're going to trade up for a player, get something that we really need. And that'd be corner edge. That's just my person. You completely disagree, Patrick, and we all have our different opinion. That's just me. But if you want to do it, hey, go. We took Jahmyr Gibbs at 12, so there's nothing out of the realm of possibility. I still don't believe they're taking a tight end because of the matching of Brock Wright. We've matched that offer. $12 million in 3 years for Brock Wright's a lot of money. A lot of money. So I just don't see them doing that at all. We need to get serious in getting and taking a kicker in the later rounds. Well, look, Betts, he did the 64-yarder here at Ford Field, right? And if they don't get him, I fully expect them to go. There's Brandon Mason, folks. Brandon Mason, I'm going to put his channel into the comment section, and it's the pinned comment right now. That man right there, Brandon Mason, in the Brandon Mason Show, he's just starting to really start to pick up. Brandon Mason is a former NFL player, Miami Dolphins, New York Jets, New York Giants. His content is absolutely awesome. I think he is going to be the next big thing on YouTube. Pat McAfee, watch out. Okay, I'm dead serious and I'm not overblowing this. This guy's content is absolute fire. He is live every single day at 10 in the morning. And I want every single person who is listening to this stream to go to that channel, subscribe. And I want to see you tomorrow at 10 in the morning. Because generally I'm in there. I actually fell asleep because I didn't sleep last night. Be in there for his show. Brandon Mason, we got big things coming up. He's going to do play-by-play commentary. He's going to do epic stuff. I cannot freaking wait. Make sure you subscribe to my man's channel. Let's see here. Holmes and Campbell both stated they wanted to bring Josh Reynolds back during the combine. Do you think that they have doubts of JMO at wide receiver too? No, I don't think they have doubts at JMO. I think that they liked Josh Reynolds. See, JMO really has nothing to do with Josh Reynolds. Josh Reynolds, the reason why he is coveted here and why he played well has nothing to do with JMO. It has to do with the fact that him and Jared Goff have a great connection. It's a great connection. And so that's why Josh Reynolds was coveted here, is because him, Jared Goff, are combined at the hip. But now, and again, they want to start fast. And when you have a Josh Reynolds who's a veteran, who's been with our quarterback the whole time, you can start fast. That's why it was plan A. If they really wanted to get Josh Reynolds, they would have brought him back. They matched the Brock Wright contract of $4 million a year. for 3 years when Josh Reynolds was $4.5 million for Denver Broncos. That just tells you they didn't think too highly of Josh Reynolds. And I know this for a fact. And I don't care what you guys say about this and what your reaction is, because I really don't have a reaction. This is the fact. Josh Reynolds was ready to leave here because he got harassed after dropping those 2 pivotal passes in the NFC Championship game. I know this for a fact. He wanted a fresh start. He was getting destroyed. Now, you may say that he needs to have thicker skin, all of that stuff, but I'm just telling you, he wanted a fresh start. And I wish Josh Reynolds nothing but the absolute best. Absolute best. First off, I liked him when we picked him up at waiver wire 3 years ago. He has been nothing but a good Detroit Lion. I understand he dropped those passes, and they were brutal passes. They were at the worst time of any game. But to just base his whole career on that game, I think is extremely unfair. It really is. And so I wish him nothing but the best. I like Josh Reynolds personally, and I like him as a player. I think he's a good dude. I really do. So I wish, hopefully in Denver, he can get what he's going for, but that's the reason why he's not here. I know this is Jared's team, but I can't wait to see Hendon Hooker in the preseason game. Hendon Hooker, I'm so excited for you guys to see Hendon Hooker and his play on the field. This guy has a cannon of an arm, folks. I'm talking cannon. Okay, he's got a very strong arm. He's elusive, and he's extremely precise, and his windows are small. This guy is a good quarterback. All these people that saying we need to trade Hendon Hooker, you're going to find out really quick. Nah, we don't need to trade Hendon Hooker. He's a great backup right now for Jared Goff. If Jared Goff goes down, folks, I'm not worried. Hendon Hooker is a good quarterback. He is not a scrub. Okay, he may be the best backup in football. You're going to see it. He had a time to develop. Super excited. Super excited to see what he can do. Jared Goff's our QB1. That's 100% facts. Hendon Hooker is good. And why we want to see Hendon Hooker? He gets more playing time, right? He gets more reps. We need all the reps that Hooker can get in this preseason game just in case we need to utilize him in a real game situation. So, you're going to like it. You are going to like it. And I'm excited to see Hooker can play too in preseason. And that gives you something to actually watch in preseason because let's keep it 100, folks. Preseason sucks. The first game's always good because you're hyped. And then after that, it's like you're ready for the regular season. But we can look at and watch Hendon Hooker develop. That's great. Folks, we got 49 likes. How is this even possible? 129 in the chat. Smash that like button. Let's get to, 75 likes. If we get to 100, we're going to do the Ultra Combo.
Ultra Combo Breaker!
If Hooker performs to Brad Holmes' liking, Goff will not get extended. Well, I think Goff's going to get extended this offseason. So I do believe he's going to get extended. And regardless, getting in there, it's Lana! Everybody in the comment section, put the word Lana in the comment section. Everybody put Lana. I want 1,000 Lana comments in the chat. That's my buddy right there. That's my pal. That's my little... I am going to transform Lana into a Detroit Lions fan. Everybody help me out, this young lady. Get this young lady to become a Detroit Lions fan. I got her a jersey, a Calvin Johnson jersey. And she goes, I don't know who Calvin Johnson is because she's a young little kid. If she knew who she was, you'd be like, that's a great jersey. Everybody in here loves Calvin Johnson. So for sure, I would trade up for Harrison. Okay, I'm going to show Lana really quick. Lana, I'm going to show you who Calvin Johnson is really quick. And everybody likes Calvin Johnson. So we're going to go ahead and let me get the Calvin Johnson here. And let's see. Everybody's going, Lana! Oh, wrong one. Let's do Lions. Nope, not that one. I gotta find it. Let's see, is it this one? I gotta do it for Lana. Okay. There we go. Now we're getting it there. Let's see. Videos. That's not the video scene. Let's do this one. That's not it. Let's do this one. That's not it. I gotta find it. I gotta find it. So she can see who Lana is. Let's see. Videos. I can't find it. That's really stinky. That is stinky. Because I really wanted to show who she was. Anyways, we'll get back to it. Megatron. Let's see. Brock Wright is going to be wide open on play action coming season. I'm happy staying micro. Yeah, well, they do a couple play actions to Brock Wright every year. It's not going to be gigantic ones, but they do it every once in a while, and because nobody expects it. Nobody expects that they're going to get Josh or they're going to get Brock Wright in there when it's always going to Sam Laporta, so that's a great thing, too, for sure, to see. Oh, I thought I had it. Oh, no. Man, I don't know what's going on, why I can't find this stuff. It is hard to find. There we go. No, it's not the one. Oh, it is. It is. Here we go. Here we go, Lana. You can listen to this. Here we go. Let me get this, my audio recorder. This is for you, Lana. It's an old intro of mine. You can go ahead and sear it.
It's LeGarrette Blount here, man, 3-time Super Bowl champion. I just want to give you a shout out to the YouTube channel, Micro Mike, man.
Eddie Murray, former Detroit Lion. Make sure you watch Micro Mike on YouTube.
Calvin Johnson Jr. here, a.k.a. Megatron. Big shout out to Micro Mike and YouTube channel, man.
Keep on talking everything Detroit Lions, and I just got to remind you, man, happy wife, happy life.
All right, that was Calvin Johnson in there, Lana, so now you get to know who Megatron is. Let's see. If Hendon kills it in the preseason and Goff were to struggle, how long before we hear the chance for him? Oh, and Lana. Well, I don't think there's going to be a lot of chance. I think the chance that you're going to be hearing is Jared Goff chance. Let's keep it 100. Jared Goff chance is what we're going to be hearing, and I really don't see Goff struggling. It doesn't even think it's going to come close to even happening in this here. Him struggling just doesn't make a lot of sense. Let's see. Can't wait to see the new uniforms. I cannot wait as well. 18th, so we're about 2 weeks away seeing the new uniforms. I think it's going to be the black ones because if you look at the draft hats, it's the black and blue draft hats they're putting out. I'm starting to think it's that one. I'd trade up for Cooper DeJean. Cooper DeJean's a very, very, very good player. He may actually be there I could see a situation where he'd be there at 29. We'll see, but he's a hell of a good player. I like him as well. Lana, see, you're getting a lot of love there, Lana. Let's see. Martin just needs to be a great time hooker, get a career back up in the weirdest narrative Lions fans have made up. Yeah, Martin just needs time and development. Let's not throw away players yet, folks. The reason why we don't throw away our players yet, why is that? Because it takes development. Derek Barnes, third year, developed. Afutu Melifonwu developed into a really good player. So don't give up. Do not give up on any player that we drafted last year, like a Broderick Martin. Wait 3 years. If he's still not doing anything in 3 years, then you can go ahead and look at that this is unacceptable, and maybe it was a bust. But let's wait a little bit before we say that. Let's see. Bradley says, do you think that the overvalued quarterback class will allow Kool-Aid and Cooper DeJean to be available at 29? Very possible, Bradley. This is what I see in this year's draft. I say 6 quarterbacks go in the first round. 6 quarterbacks. I think 7 receivers go in the first round. I think you can see 7 offensive linemen go in the first round. That's going to push some premium talent to the Detroit Lions. It really is, right? Because there's so many good offensive players, skill positions that teams need, and we don't really need those, so we're just like hoping there's a run on some of these players, and then that will push one of the guys that we like back. And we always see somebody falls in the draft. We don't know when they fall, but they will fall. So I think it's possible. Very, very possible. It's gonna be a good situation either way. It is. Let's see. Mike, I love your nickname. How did you get it? It'll be neat to have watching your channel. Before the Lions go, or before the Lions good, it was awesome that we are now a contender. No more Patricia. Yeah, I know, right? We've been a lot of us has been through this in the last couple of years with all of us together, with me, and it's good to see the change. Economics is where my name came from. So microeconomics, there's only one person that got it right. Shout out to you. Everyone assumes it's talking about a D or my small d, right? A small d. Hey, I love it, man. I love it. I like the controversy of that name, right? It really stirred up and makes people laugh. So it's microeconomics. I went to school of business, but I know what everybody's thinking. And I love it when everyone's thinking that. That's exactly the whole point of me doing that. Get that in there. Get that in there for you guys. And it's funny to see. Let's see. Preseason's going to be interesting for sure. It's going to be really, really good to see. You know, some of these players whom we drafted play, and I think Hendon Hooker, I think that's there. I want to see Sorsdale as well. Broderick Martin, you know, get some reps for those guys whom we did draft later. Antoine Green, get a lot of reps for him. You know, can these guys start to progress? And that's another thing I want to see, obviously, in there. No, please, no black uniforms. It's not part of Honolulu Blue and official colors. Black looks good on the Steelers, the Redskins, and that is it. Well, that is a uniform we used to have, was a black uniform. It's one they used to have. I think it's gonna be the blacks or the old 90s uniform that Herm wore. In those, I would really, what my personal opinion is, I want the color blue of the helmets. I love those blue helmets last that they brought out. I'd love to have that color blue of a uniform. That would be fun. That's my personal thing. I literally just talked about that. The change in the uniform. I like to have the blue of the helmet is the colors of the uniform. That's my personal preference. It may not be. Don't know. Zach Zenner. Zenier? I remember Zach Zenner. The Micro D conspiracy. I love the Micro D conspiracy. Again, I'm going to be at Woodward Sports later today. Their shows from 5 to 7. I don't know what hour I'm going to be in there, but I'll be with Speakeasy, Spenroll Racks. Make sure you follow there. Again, I put a pinned comment in this comment section. This is my friend Brandon Mason, former NFL player, multiple teams. He's going to be doing big, gigantic things, okay? We're going to take this. I'm going to give him everything that I know to make sure that I can help this guy explode. And when we do live watch parties, best believe he's going to crush it. He's going to do the Final Four. He's going to do NBA, I'm sure, NFL, obviously. And I like to do some play-by-play with him. We're going to get that done. It's going to be epic. So you're going to want to subscribe to that channel because I'm telling you right now, the 90s uniforms is cool. I do like that. I don't like that futuristic look, so he disagrees with me. That's cool. That's cool. I do. Some people don't. Let's see. The soccer team literally just dropped new black formula. It's a sign, Mike. The soccer team. I don't really watch soccer, man. I know that's over there for you, over there in England, and you guys love soccer. I just never been a soccer guy. It's never really been. I mean, I'll play with my kid. That's about really it. But I just like the physical sport. Physical. Let's get to 75 likes. We're at 65 right now. Let's get to 75. We get to 75, we'll do an ultra combo for you guys because right now we're in the rut. We're in the part of this off season where there's not much going on. Once we get to the draft and we have a lot to talk about, then we're in a rut for about 2 months, and then we began the next part of our journey for the new and up-and-coming season. The option uniforms will be the new helmet. I love it. I hope so. I really hope. I'm with you. I hope it is. I hope it is. Brad will cook and probably won't take the players people mocked, but he knows what he's doing and build this team. The players he wants. Trust in him. I 100% run DMG. 100%. You're always putting some facts in the comment section. I appreciate you. Craig says, Micro, you're killing it. Off the day. Have a blessed day. Let's go. Thank you so much, Craig, and I too 100% appreciate you. And we got a super chat by Josh Jackson. $10 super. $10 super by Josh Jackson. Show him some love in the comment section. Off subject, but I want to give a shout out to my father, Michael Lucky Jackson. Oh, man, he passed away 2 days ago. He was a great man, served in Vietnam, U.S. Air Force, K9, MP. Love you, Dad. sorry for your loss, Josh, and that's terrible. But you want to know what? He is definitely in a better place. He is in heaven. And my dad was a Vietnam veteran as well, so I want to thank your father for his sacrifice to this country. Without folks like your father, we do not have the ability to talk like this and do shows because we have the freedom that we got because of folks like him. So I thank you so much for sharing that. Prayers to you and your family, Josh. And, it sucks. Hopefully it gets better. Let's get a Super Bowl for your dad, right? Let's get a Super Bowl for all the older fans that's been waiting for so long to see it, and give them something to cheer about up there. So rest in peace to your father. And, yeah, my condolences as well as James, man. We appreciate you, brother. You've been in here for you've been sub to me since, like 5 years, so I appreciate you. Much respect to Herman Moore. I met him in Surprise. He was great field and off the field. Dude, he's a great guy on and off the field. The guy barely curses. He's always he's always being nice. And if you want to meet him, we're at the Soaring Eagle Casino on draft April 25. I'm going to be there. Herm's going to be there. He's going to be signing autographs and all that lovely stuff. We're going to be doing the NFL draft. We'll probably have a couple Michigan players that's going to show up, former players that's going to show up. We'll do some interviews, talk to them, and it's going to be a great time. So if you want to meet some former greats, come on down to the Soaring Eagle Casino. And then day 2, I'm going to try to get to Detroit, hang out maybe with the Crunch Time crew or hang out with Woodward Sports. I'm going to try to hang out with one of those guys on the next day, for sure. So, Zach Zenier, Michigan guard, and plus, you did watch the film on Jake. Yes, McCaffrey, yes, number 10. He, great hands, plus he's gets bet where. Yeah, man, there's a lot of good offensive linemen in this year's draft. Guards, center even, and tackle. And you're going to see a lot of them go because teams need them. Our backup right now, tackle, is Dan Skipper. We all love Dan Skipper, but we probably want to get another one. And so, they're going to be taking guards. They're going to be taking an offensive lineman in this draft, and it may be at 29. It probably be in the first 3 rounds because it's such a pivotal position for this football team. If you don't have a good tackler, if you don't have a good backup guard, when you lose to an injury, you're kind of screwed, and that's the last thing that we want to do on here. It's just the absolute last thing is we don't want to get screwed. Let's see. If Reynolds would have said we were awful drops and he felt bad instead of saying S. Well, let's keep it 100. If you're in his shoes, do you think that he has nightmares over those drops? I think he does. I think that what he has to deal with, I think that is punishment enough. I still remember when I was playing high school and when I made a mistake, okay, in big games. This was going to the Super Bowl. And I can guarantee you it's haunting him. So I don't want to rip on him anymore. There's really no reason. What he failed to do is going to haunt him for the rest of his life. And so I don't need a reason to pile up on that. I really don't. And Jahmyr Gibbs fumbled that ball. Vildor missed the interception. St. Brown dropped. I mean, all these people that make those big mistakes, they gotta live with it for the rest of their career. And you know that sucks, right? So, and Josh Reynolds is different from a Jahmyr Gibbs, where he's 29 years old, and Jahmyr Gibbs is a young guy. St. Brown's a young guy where they can make up for it. But when you're talking about so close to a Super Bowl, you know he was feeling it. So I'm not going to rip on him. I'm just not going to do it. And because he's already got destroyed. And I can't even imagine. You know, you're dropping a pass that you potentially could took you to the Super Bowl. It was a gut punch for everybody, himself included. So, folks, that's just, that's the bottom line right there. I kind of feel for him on that one, folks. Again, folks, we've been doing this every single Thursday. We're getting closer to the NFL draft, so you're going to want to subscribe. You're going to want to hit that notification bell, and you also want to subscribe to Brandon Mason, and I put that at the pinned comment on here. There it is. There's his channel as well. Make sure you subscribe every day, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. He is live streaming. Get in there, subscribe. even if you're not into the content he's talking about, because he's going to do play-by-play commentary, and everybody loves play-by-play commentary. With that said, folks, I appreciate everybody hanging out. Adios.
Searching for greatness in a sea of the dying and shameless, a sea of the aimless. I don't wanna be one of the nameless. I'ma wake up with the mindset that one day I'm gonna make it, and I don't think I'll be fine if I don't break my limitations. Don't try to stop me, I exist to write my own story. I'll make a decision if I want some peace or if I want the glory. Yeah, don't want a life that is complacent or possibly boring. I just want a life that is worth every day exploring.
My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna